In cleaning for Pesach, we have to know that we're looking for Hametz. We're not looking for just dirt, spring cleaning. We're just looking for Hametz, and we have two aspects of it. Number one, that we're not supposed to eat Hametz on Pesach, and therefore anything that relates to food we're extra careful. So in the kitchen we have to clean thoroughly, that everything should be sparkling clean and no crumb of Hametz anywhere. However, for the rest of the house, since we're not eating there, we're only concerned with possessing Hametz. And possessing Hametz is only a problem if it's more than a kezayit, more than an olive size, or it's more than an amount that is significant enough that if you find it on the floor, you might pick it up and eat it. Or your child. For example, if you find a cookie somewhere on a shelf, somewhere in a pocket, you might, if you're hungry that day, you might put it in your mouth. Or a child, if a child finds a piece of Cheerio on the floor, they might put it in their mouth. So as long as you clean the significant Hametz, you're not concerned about the crumbs. So if you're limited on time, just quickly go through all the rooms, just take all the bags of Hametz, all the cookies and other things that may be there, whether you brought it there or your children. Check their knapsacks, pockets, for big pieces of Hametz. However, for crumbs, we don't worry. Number one, because it's not important, you're not going to eat it, it doesn't matter. And number two is we do nullification anyway. We do a bitul. Right before Pesach, we nullify all Hametz that we may have, and those crumbs are included in that. We don't care about that. Only the kitchen we should concentrate. Now another idea
Why
is...
just the kitchen? Why just the kitchen? Why not the...
Because we eat in the kitchen. Why
just the kitchen? We eat in different places.
Kitchen and maybe your dining room table. That's it. Not supposed to eat in your bedroom. Now, in addition to cleaning the Hametz, we have another tool that helps us, and that is selling the Hametz. Selling Hametz helps us that if we have an area of our house that we don't need for Pesach, we don't even have to clean it. We can just cover it and sell it. Which means, if let's say you have few cabinets in the kitchen that you don't need, you can just close them or tape them and sell them. And you don't even have to empty them, you don't have to clear the Hametz from them. If you have, let's say, extra freezer and it's full of Hametz, you don't have to throw it out, you don't have to clean it, you just sell it and that's it. So on Pesach, all you have to do is identify what things do I really need for Pesach, what do I need for these 7-8 days. Let's say I need my dining room table, I need my kitchen table, I need the counter, and I need a couple drawers, couple closets. So I'm going to just clean them, and that's it. If I need my oven, my stove, sink, that's it. The rest of my kitchen, all the cabinets, I'm not going to. If I have a grill that I'm not going to use, I'm not going to clean it. I'm just going to include it in a sale.
But you need to close it, right? Tie it.
Just maybe cover it. Don't have to even do it. Just the idea is that you shouldn't forget and use it, or if there is food, you should eat it. So with the food, we're more careful. You have to isolate it, that you shouldn't eat it. But it's not difficult, and if you need to leave something in your refrigerator or freezer that you're also using, you can designate a shelf and put all your things that you don't need for that week, put it there, cover it, and sell it, both in the freezer and in the refrigerator. Another idea that helps us is that any Hametz that becomes inedible to a dog before Pesach is no longer food and is no longer Hametz, and it's fine. So therefore, if you're concerned about maybe little crumbs or stains on your table or counter, all you have to do is just to wash it with detergent, and it will become inedible, and that's it. So you do your best to clean it from chametz, and afterwards you just wash all the surfaces, refrigerator, counter, table, sink, everything, and stove, everything with detergent, and that will make everything inedible.
No boiling water and no need to do the boiling water
For
the counter.
For the counter, the only reason you would need to do boiling water for counter is if you want to put food directly on the counter.
Otherwise you can cover.
But if you use a plate or you use cutting board, then you don't need boiling water.
Or you can just cover with the plastic.
You
right?
can cover with plastic, yeah. Cover with plastic gives you certain peace of mind, but it's not required by halakha. By halakha, as long as you wiped everything and you washed it with soap, detergent, that's it. Number one, you cleaned it, and number two, even if there's any residue there, any crumb, you made it inedible. The concern is only maybe it will draw a taste of chametz from the surface, and that only happens if you put hot food directly on the counter. That's why we're more careful with pots, pans, and oven, because there we're dealing with food and hot food. So there, cleaning with soap will not help, because that will only make it inedible on the surface, inside not. So then you have to already treat it with heat. So for the sink, we pour boiling water on all surfaces. For the oven, either you run self-cleaning cycle or you turn it on the highest for 1 hour after cleaning it. For the stove, you clean it and then you just put a piece of aluminum foil on each burner and turn it on highest for 2 minutes, and that will clean the grates. If you
Oven. The oven.
the oven, if you have self-cleaning,
And if you don't?
if you don't, you wash it with soap and then turn it on highest for 1 hour for the highest temperature. Pots and pans, if they're stainless steel, you can boil them. If you don't have your Pesach set, you boil. Spoons, forks, knives, also you boil in hot water. But if it's covered like Teflon or enamel, non-stick cover, then we don't kosher it. You should get separate for Pesach. If you have microwave, you clean it again with soap, make sure it's all clean, and then you put hot water in and you turn it on, let it run for a few minutes until the whole interior is covered with steam. Dishwasher, you clean it well, and then run empty cycle with detergent with hot water, and after the empty cycle, it becomes kosher. So briefly, we went through the whole kitchen. It's very easy. Again, things that you don't need, don't kosher. Things you need, preferably get separate for Pesach. If you have problem with the cost of it or the storage of it, then you kosher what you have. Now we move to the food. Food has to be, preferably everything you buy should have special Pesach hashgacha. There is a list that you have of things that, and I also sent it by email. Yeah, the common foods and household products that don't need hashgacha at all, or at least they need hashgacha but for every day, but not for Pesach. That helps you, whether it's coffee or tea.
Is dishwashing liquid in here?
Yeah, it's there. That it doesn't have to be kosher. Not that one. It's one page. Products.
I'll find it. Okay.
Yeah, right there. You can use that as a guide. If you have more questions, you can either ask me or look at the bigger book or booklet. You also have the JSOR booklet that gives you more products. Now, in addition to not eating the 5 grains, wheat, spelt, rye, oats, and
Lentils?
no. Wheat, spelt, rye, oats, and barley. These are the only 5 that make chametz. Some communities took upon themselves not to eat kitniyot. Some communities don't eat rice. Some communities don't eat different beans. Sephardim in general eat kitniyot, so we only are concerned with the 5 grains. However, when we eat the kitniyot, for example rice, we have to make sure that there is nothing mixed into it. For example, you may have some grains of wheat together with rice, especially if it's brown rice. So you have to be extra careful. And because of that, any kitniyot that you eat, before Pesach you have to check 3 times to make sure there are no grains from these 5 mixed in.
So bleached rice is okay?
Bleached rice is okay, but it should not be enriched. But regular kokuho rice is good. Any brown rice is usually good because it's not enriched. There is special rice with star K SP Hashgacha that's kosher for Passover. In some stores they have it. But plain Bukharian rice, the kokuho rice, is good because it's not enriched. There are 3 ways to check if rice is not enriched. Number 1, if it doesn't have the word enriched in it. The reason why we don't want to enrich this because by enriching it they put vitamins in, and the vitamins should stick. Sometimes they use alcohol to dilute it in there, and they spray rice with it. So if it doesn't say enriched, also in the ingredients you see it just says rice, it doesn't say enriched with vitamins this and this, and also in the nutrition panel where it says the calories and everything else, you look at vitamins, and if you see that all of them are 0, iron 0, vitamin C 0, vitamin A 0, so you see there was no vitamins, and then it's fine. A lot of times, even if we don't see wheat or barley in the ingredients, but there may be some derivative of it used. For example, malt derived from barley, or alcohol that is from wheat, or anything else that is made from these 5 grains is not allowed. And therefore, any complicated product we cannot have without hashgacha, because we don't know where all these chemicals and products came from. However, simple products that are listed there, you can have without special Pesach hashgacha. Even if it's a regular candy, you shouldn't just say, oh, it doesn't have wheat. It doesn't have wheat, but it may have some derivatives of it. On this year, Pesach is Shabbat. So we conduct the search for Hametz Thursday night. After appearance of the stars, which is about 20 minutes after sunset, we are supposed to get the whole family together, and already after cleaning the whole house, after the house is ready, we search one final time. The head of the household makes the bracha al biur chametz, and we go throughout the rooms with a candle or a flashlight, and we search for any pieces of chametz. We double check all the bags, all the pockets, all the closets, all the boxes, anything that can have potentially chametz, we search. As well as your car, but since at night on the street it's hard to see what's in the car, you can search the car during the day, before the night. If you want, if you already know my car, I cleaned already, it's clean, so you can still do it at night, just superficial, but the cleaning of the car has to be done by day. As
Annulment of those cramps is also going to be for the car when we
yes,
make that.
yes, as well as cleaning your office is necessary. If in your at your job or business you have hametz, you ever bring hametz, you have to search for it and you have to clean it. Then at the end of your bedikah, when you finish the whole bedikah, you do the annulment. And you keep in mind everything except for what I saved for breakfast. Then you eat breakfast, preferably until 10 a.m. You have to finish your breakfast. After 10 a.m. you shouldn't eat chametz anymore. If you are firstborn, you fast unless you hear siyum masechet. Usually in the synagogue they have it after every minyan. And then after breakfast you collect the last pieces of chametz plus whatever you found from last night and you destroy it, preferably by burning if there is a site where they burn. If not, you can flush it down the toilet or put it in a public garbage, not your own garbage, because your garbage is still going to be on your property.
Can someone burn it for you?
Yeah. And at the end, after you burned it, you destroyed completely entire chametz from your possession, you say the annulment one more time. This time you include everything. Maybe you forgot something from breakfast, or you didn't find something, whatever it is. You keep everything in mind and you annul it. You make it ownerless, like the dust of the earth. Yes.
Can a non-Jew like burn it, or it has to be a Jew?
They can burn it. You give it to them, yeah, they burn it.
And flushing is out of the question?
Flushing?
Yeah.
You can do it.
Say,
Yeah. Yeah, if you have no other choice, you can flush it. And then at the morning, right after you burn it and you annulled it, we're not allowed to eat any more chametz. You're not allowed to derive the benefit from chametz. Whatever chametz you sold already, you cannot touch it anymore. It was sold already. They sell chametz in the morning before time when it becomes forbidden, because once it's forbidden, it doesn't help to sell it anymore. And from then on until after Pesach, about an hour after Pesach, don't touch those places that were sold. Then Erev Pesach, before the Seder, everybody should make sure to rest, so that by Seder you have strength. The children should take nap Friday afternoon, and you should eat a little bit so that when Seder comes, you're not so hungry. Now, once the Seder comes, we have to remember that the main reason why we're there is for people who don't know. Either children, our own children, we're supposed to educate them, tell them about Pesach, tell them about history, tell them about how Hashem saved us, how Hashem did all these miracles special for us. If we have people by our Seder who are adults but they also don't know, we concentrate on them as well. The Seder is mainly for such people, to educate them more about Hashem, to educate them more about Jewish history, about our special role.
what if they're impatient and
So
don't want to receive?
therefore, if they are impatient, you have to adjust to them. And how do you adjust to them? Number one, if possible, you feed them before the Seder, before the night time.
But if they're firstborn, how do you feed them? They're supposed to fast, right?
Yeah, if they can go to synagogue and hear the completion of a tractate and eat, it's better. It's better not to. If possible, you should exempt yourself and not fast. If, let's say, they came from work and they didn't eat, so then, number one, you tell them, we have a law that we cannot eat until we finish the Haggadah. However, if you're not up to it, eat a little bit that you should have strength, and then listen to us. And the second thing you can do is to skip a little bit some portions of the Haggadah. And if you have your own Haggadah, I'm going to tell you what to skip. And then you read the skipped parts on your own afterwards. And that will save you anywhere from a third to like 40% of the Haggadah. So when you turn to the beginning, the Haggadah starts with Kiddush. And by Kiddush, everybody has their own cup with at least 3 ounces of wine or grape juice. If person cannot tolerate it, you're allowed to put 1/3 water, let's say 1 ounce of water and 2 ounces of grape juice or 2 ounces of wine. You can have low alcohol wine.
But grape juice is okay, right?
Grape juice is okay. Preferably it should be wine, but for someone who cannot tolerate alcohol, grape juice is okay. We make Kiddush, and this year we also include Shabbat in the Kiddush, as well as we include the bracha Shehecheyanu. And then we drink the wine leaning on the left side. Everybody has to lean on the left side, men, women, children. Even if you are lefty, you still lean on the left side.
Question: since we have Shabbat this year, we start with the usual Shabbat song, Shalom Aleichem, Yishnahal, and then.
You could, but you don't have to. You don't have to. If you see that it's people are impatient, you should rather skip it. They just go straight into Kiddush. And now,
Rabbi, the proper
yes.
leaning, can you explain a little bit? The proper
leaning?
Because there are many ideas how to do it right.
The best is if you have, let's say, an extra chair with a pillow, and you can lean on it.
So it needs to be 45 degrees, your body, or
Any degree, but you shouldn't be sitting straight. You should be leaning, and preferably you shouldn't lean on yourself. You should lean on the table, preferably. If not possible, not possible. You should lean on either on a chair or on someone else's lap.
on someone else's lap?
If you, let's say you don't have space to put an extra chair next to each person, a little table or a chair with a pillow, or if you have armchair, you can just put the pillow on the chair itself and lean on it. Again, the idea is to show that we are free men, we eat in a relaxed manner. Also, another idea is to show this, each person doesn't pour for himself, but rather you pour, someone pours for you, and you pour for someone else. If you forgot to lean, you have to drink another cup of wine. After Kiddush, we wash our hands without a bracha, and we eat a dipped food. We dip it in salt water. We take a small piece of vegetable, whether cooked or raw. We say Bore Pri Ha'adama, and we eat it. Since we dip it in salt water, which represents tears, we don't have to lean. We eat it straight. We say Bore Pri Ha'adama and eat it, but the piece has to be small, less than a kazait, because if it's more than a kazait, we would have to say bracha achrona after bracha Bore Nefashot afterwards. After you eat karpas, you take your middle matzah. You have 3 matzot. You take the middle matzah.
It's sleepy.
And you break it in half. You break it in half
One small one.
such a way that one should be bigger, one small. The small one you put back into the middle, and the bigger one you put away for afikomen. About afikomen, there are different customs. Some people, the head of the household, the father, hides it, and children are supposed to look for it. And if they find it, they get a prize. And sometimes it's the children who hide it, and the father has to look for it. And if he cannot find it, then he bribes the children with gifts. And some places they don't hide it; they just put it on the side, and then they take it out. So if afikomen got lost, cannot find it, you can take any other piece of matzah
I thought you
and
can't
eat it.
consume the Seder. I thought you can't consume the Seder.
You can take any other piece of matzah and eat that instead of afikomen. If children want too much for it, you can use a different piece of matzah. Then after Yachatz comes the Magid. Magid is the part when we actually tell the story of Exodus. We read the Haggadah. We say halachma aniya. If necessary, you can skip the paragraph of halachma aniya, but they're not going to let you. Then children ask the manishtana questions. If you don't have so much time, you can quickly go through this section. Either ask only one child or you read these questions by yourself. By the way, if you don't understand Hebrew, you're allowed to read the Haggadah in any language that you understand. Then you read the paragraph of Avadim Hayinu, but you can skip Maaseh Rabbi Eliezer, the story that tells us about how Tanaim, together with Rabbi Akiva, they sat in Bnei Brak and how they conducted the Seder. You can skip, and also the story of the 4 children, the 4 sons, you can skip. Keneged
I didn't know about
Arba Banim.
it.
The story of 4 sons you can skip, and you start again where it says Mitchila of de Avodah Zarah Hayu Avoteinu, that our forefathers were idol worshippers.
Really?
The parents of our forefathers.
But if you don't skip, if everything is organized, I remember last year we finished within 1 hour without skipping.
Yes,
Is it possible? It's possible.
It's
right?
possible, but the problem is that as your children get older, they will want to share their ideas because they come from school with a lot of material, stories, divrei Torah, songs, and they will want to share. And you have few children, and each one will say, and each piece you read, they will add something. You read another piece, they will add something.
That's very good, deleting.
But it's true, if you just read the text, it's going to be quick. But you shouldn't just read the text. You should make it interactive, you should make it fun, and it's important to keep the children engaged and if necessary to give them snacks or prizes or something to keep them alert.
Question. So, since it's on Shabbat, we can also sing Shabbat songs, or is it better to just go through the Haggadah and then later on, after you finish everything, to sing?
Yeah, after you finish everything. Maybe by Shulchan Aruch, by your actual meal, if you want, you can sing. But we also have time limit. We should try to finish the Seder by about midnight, Jewish midnight, which is the actual midnight, about 1 a.m.
That's what I always thought, but I heard from Rabbi Yosef Akilov, he mentioned yesterday that this law doesn't really apply to us. He heard from Rabbi Walken. So he said there is really no set time limit, and you can finish 2, 3 a.m.
It's still preferable to finish it by 1. However, if you cannot, you can continue as long as you want. It's not like if 1 a.m. finishes, that's it, you lost it. No. But preferably you should try to finish by 1. So things that you can say later, it's better to leave for later. So if your Shabbat songs you can sing afterwards, you can sing them afterwards.
Okay.
But what should be finished by 1 then? The whole...
Why?
No, what should be finished by 1?
You should finish your last cup of wine, you should finish.
The last cup of wine.
And the reason for this is because you were supposed to finish the Korban Pesach by dawn. If you didn't finish by dawn, it becomes disqualified. So in order to prevent people from, again, postponing it and then missing the point of dawn, and then it will become unfit, you have to burn it, Chachamim, the sages, instituted an earlier time limit of midnight. try to finish it by midnight. So that if you're delayed and you eat it after midnight, at least it's still kosher. You didn't transgress Torah law.
As long as you eat the afikomen maybe before that time, you should be okay.
Preferably the best to finish everything.
Everything.
The second best is at least to eat afikomen. That's how some people do.
By 12 or by 1?
By one.
By 1.
By one. And then if you cannot even do that, but we, with the people that we deal with, not too many people want to stay past 1 o'clock anyway. So you try to have everything set before Shabbat, so that as soon as you come home from synagogue, everything is already set.
What he was asking is not to overshadow Shabbat. You know, are we overshadowing Shabbat with this Seder or?
No, because you're mentioning Shabbat in a Kiddush.
And in the Bedikat Hametz.
You're going to mention Shabbat in Bedikat Hametz, right?
Okay.
And the next morning, when you eat your meal, you can sing as many Shabbat songs as you want, because by lunch we don't make a Seder, and then you also have to eat Sudah Shlishit, that Shabbat, but you can't eat it too close, like a regular one, to Shkia, because it's going to interfere with the Seder. You're not going to be hungry anymore for the Seder, so you have to eat early. By 4 o'clock, you should try to finish your Sudah Shlishit. So let's say you finish lunch, let's say by 1 o'clock, and then around 3:30, eat your Sudah Shlishit.
And then Saturday we do the second day.
And then Motzei Shabbat, right, Saturday night, we do the second Seder, and then you have to also do Havdalah. Within the Kiddush, there is Havdalah. You bring two, it's good to use, if you have 2 Hanukkah candles, the ones that are thin. They're not kosher for Hanukkah, but they are kosher for Havdalah. So you can, because unlike regular Havdalah, you cannot put out. You
So
cannot.
there's candles for
Yeah, either use 2 regular candles or 2 Hanukkah candles, because they burn out fast.
But what you cannot put out the
You cannot
light?
put out, right? So you'll have to, after you do Havdalah, you put 2 candles together. You do the bracha for Havdalah, Borei Meorei Hayesh, and then you put them aside and let them burn out by themselves.
what about Besamim and wine?
We don't do besamim. Wine is the
Wine,
Kiddush wine.
Kiddush wine.
Yeah,
This is after Shabbat comes out?
after Shabbat comes out. Yes, we're not allowed to prepare on Shabbat for the next day. So you have to wait until Shabbat comes out, and only then you can light candles, and only then afterwards you do Kiddush. So, מתחילה עובדי עבודה זרה היו אבותינו יוריד ויקח את אביכם. Then you continue basically the Haggadah until you come to the words Amru Rabotenu Zichronam Levracha, the part that describes how when Hashem punished the Egyptians, the angels came, and how many makot they received in Egypt, and how many makot they received by splitting of the Red Sea. Then you continue with description of what Yad Chazaka is, Zro Netuya, Mora Gadol, and you can skip when it starts talking about the makot. Again, some things that are less important became popular. So makot became popular. If you have time constraints, people are pushing you, you can skip the makot. The 10 plagues, and there are 2 customs. When you mention the 10 plagues, either to dip your finger and to drip it. Some say it's not nice to dip your finger into the wine, so you just spill 10 times. And after that you refill the cup, and you don't drink whatever is spilled. And the part where it says Yossi Haglili Omer, all the way, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Akiva, all that you skip. If you want later, you can look at my book to see. Then the song Dayenu, we can also skip, if necessary. Or you can just say, let's say, 1 paragraph of it, just to make it exciting, and then you skip all the way until the words Rabban Gamliel Haya Omer. Rabban Gamliel said that you have to mention 3 things on Pesach night. Pesach, matzah, and maror. So from there, you continue and you say the whole Haggadah. And then you start the Hallel while holding the cup. You say the first 2 Mizmorim of Hallel, and you say the Bracha Gal Yisrael, and you drink wine leaning on your left side again. You don't have to make a bracha for the wine, because the bracha for Kiddush covers it. Then we wash our hands again with a bracha, al netilat yadayim. And now we eat matzah. For matzah, you have to eat, we eat matzah 3 times during the Seder. Once for Hamotzilech min haaretz and al mitzvat al achilat matzah. That's the first time.
We say both blessings.
We say both blessings. Second time we eat it by sandwich, korech, and the third time by afikomen. So the first time is the most important, and the size is the largest. If you use hand matzah, you eat about half of the hand matzah. For the head of the household. For other people, you can give about 1/3 of the hand matzah. For children, you just give a little piece, but for adults, you give 1/3 of the hand matzah. You, as the head of the household, you eat half of the hand matzah. Then for korech, you give each person 1/4 of the hand matzah, and then they fold it and they make a sandwich. And for afikomen, you give everyone 1/3 of the hand matzah. So altogether, each person will eat a little bit more than a whole hand matzah.
Have for the beginning, everyone should eat. The adult should eat half.
The person who has the
Oh, the
Seder
head of
plate
household.
in front of him
Okay.
should eat half. Everyone else is enough if they eat 1/3 of the hand matzah. We're talking about regular hand matzah. If your hand matzah is very thin, then you should eat more.
Okay.
Usually, if it has about 8 matzot per pound, that's regular. But if it has 10 or more, 10, 11, 12 matzot per pound, those are very thin, so then you eat more.
Can you repeat 1/3 for those for the maror or for the sandwich?
For sandwich you eat 1/4,
A quarter. Okay.
and for afikomen you eat 1/3.
Okay. Thank you.
Now for older people, you could do egg matzah.
No, you cannot do egg matzah for anybody, but what you can do for old people is you can soak it. You can tell them to just put it in water a little bit to make it softer. You should use shmura matzah, whether it's a hand matzah or machine matzah, you should use shmura matzah. Machine matzah also comes in a shmura matzah form for the Seder. If you have scale, kitchen scale or food scale or post office scale, you can prepare this by weight
Before Shabbat.
before Shabbat. And like this you'll save a lot of time, and also you'll know for sure that you have proper measurement. And then you can measure 21 grams of matzah for first and last eating, when you need a 1/3, and 17 grams of matzah for sandwich. And like this you can even make bags for as many people as you have, for both sedarim, and just give them out and people will know how much to eat. You can do the same with maror. For maror we use romaine lettuce. You can either clean it yourself, which is time consuming, or you can buy pre-washed, or it comes from the greenhouse and pre-cut, and there also you can measure an ounce. matzah is less because it's dry, but here you need a little more. So you measure 27 grams of romaine lettuce, put it in a bag, and each person eats for maror and also for sandwich. We eat maror twice, once by itself and once in a sandwich. So for each person you need 2 ounces of maror, of romaine lettuce. So if you buy a pound of romaine lettuce, it's going to be enough for 8 people. For 8 people for 2 eatings per Seder.
Also, I see different time limits for when everyone should finish the matzah.
Yes,
4
you should
minutes, 9
finish matzah preferably within 4 minutes.
Okay.
If you can, there is even a more strict 2 minutes to finish that third or half of a matzah at once while leading. If not possible, 4 minutes, and if not possible, up to 7 minutes you should try to finish. Therefore, we should not disturb people, we should not talk, we should not walk around, we should not tell, let's say, our wives to bring something while they're eating the matzah. Allow them full time to finish the matzah. It's important because if you have a break, it's not going to be considered that you ate a full size. Then after you eat the matzah leaning on the side, you take the ounce of maror, of bitter herbs. We eat romaine lettuce. You can also put some horseradish if you want to feel bitter, but you don't have to. And if you do put horseradish, put it fresh, not pickled, not the one that comes from the jar. And you make a bracha ala chilat maror, and you eat it straight, you don't lean. Then you make a sandwich, 2 pieces of matzah with some maror in the middle, you dip it into haroset. Some people smear haroset into the sandwich, and you make a statement that this is in memory of Beit HaMikdash, and just like Hillel Hazaken used to eat a sandwich, matzah and maror together, that's what we eat. After you finish your sandwich, again with the 1 ounce of matzah and 1 ounce of maror, you can eat the meal. This is called Shulchan Orech. And during the meal, keep in mind that you still have to eat afikomen and you still have to drink 2 more cups of wine, so don't eat too much. And during the meal you can eat matzah and you can drink wine, but it's better to limit yourself. Then after the meal we take out the afikomen. If you need to eat dessert, you eat dessert before the afikomen, because after afikomen you cannot eat anything. You can only drink water or tea, because the taste of matzah should stay in your mouth.
For how long?
Till you go to sleep.
If you need to wake up and eat something quickly, or you're hungry.
After you wake up?
Yeah. No, not after. During the night or something, you need to eat something.
Usually after the Seder, people are full. And then you're so tired that you go to sleep right away.
Yes,
So you can just drink water or tea, but not eat or drink juices, not that.
Okay.
Also, for how we always dip the bread into salt. So with matzah we don't do that.
Matzah, you also do that.
Oh, you do that?
Yeah.
But the salt doesn't stick to matzah. You
Salt
still
doesn't
do it?
stick. You
Okay.
still do it. If you want, you can, to taste the salt, if you want, you can afterwards sprinkle it. But you dip it into salt. The main thing is to dip into the salt.
And so everybody would have to do it on their own, right? Because they're going to be making their own matzah? Or
Either that, or when you give it to them, you can put a little bit of salt on their matzah.
okay, because usually when we do it, like since you said that the head of the household is supposed to eat like about half of it, the rest are supposed to eat a third of it. So does the head of the household break for everyone and put it in the salt, or
It's symbolic mostly.
Yeah,
It's symbolic.
yes, it doesn't. You can.
everybody can do it themselves?
Yes,
Okay.
they can do it themselves. You can prepare it in advance and just give out the bags, or you can ask a helper to help you with breaking the matzah and giving it.
Okay.
After we eat afikomen, and we have to eat afikomen leaning on the left side, we say Bedikat Hametz. in Birkat Hamazon we have to mention Retzeh for Shabbat, and we have to mention Ya'aleh v'yavo for Pesach. On the first night of Pesach, if you forget Ya'aleh v'yavo, you have to go back and repeat Birkat Hamazon. And since it's Shabbat, if you forget Retzeh, you have to repeat Birkat Hamazon. So you have to be careful with the additions. After Birkat Hamazon, everyone has a cup of wine, and you hold the cup of wine while you say Birkat Hamazon. After Birkat Hamazon, you say Borei Pri HaGefen, and you drink that cup of wine, again leaning on the side. Okay, now, after this cup of wine, you pour yourself a new cup of wine, the fourth one, and you finish the Hallel. You say Shfoch Hamatecha, then you finish the Hallel. After Hallel, we say what's Perek and Tehillim, which is called Hallel HaGadol. Hodu Lashem ki tov ki l'olam chasdo. Then we say Nishmat Kol Chai, and we say Yishtabach. And after you finish the bracha, Melech Me'ulam B'Tishbachot, you again drink the last cup of wine leaning on the left side, and afterwards you say Al HaGefen, the bracha achrona. After bracha achrona, we sing songs. We sing the song Haggadah that talks about how throughout history, what may seem to us things just happening by itself, really Hashem is guiding everything, and at the end Hashem will reward those that did good, and Hashem will punish those that were bad. That's the song Haggadah. Then we sing other songs, Echad Mi Yodea, going through numbers of from 1 to 13, and speaking about significance of each number. And you can continue with other songs, Bukharian songs, Hebrew songs, and then we say Shir HaShirim, again if it's preferable, if you have strength, and then we go to sleep.
Singing is optional though, right? Or
it's not optional, it's obligatory, but if you're so tired that you cannot, then you go to sleep.
Also, some people want to drink alcohol, like, I don't know, different kind of alcohol besides wine, right?
Yes.
So, and afterwards it's hard for them to drink wine.
Yes.
So in that case, should they still drink the minimum? They have to, it's 4
They have to, yeah. If they cannot drink wine, let them drink grape juice. But it's not smart to drink, let's say, vodka and then not be able to drink.
Yeah.
So, the person has to be smart. Don't drink by Seder. Drink by lunch. Drink by other days of Pesach and Chol HaMoed, but by Seder, drink just wine.
Also, some people want to leave early, let's say 11 o'clock, and should the person who's leading the Seder, should he say on their behalf, go faster and eat all the blessings, or not, like they should do it on their own? But if
They can do it on their own.
If they cannot do it on their own?
If they cannot do it on their own, if you're able to go faster, go faster. If not, just tell them, say Bedikat Hamazon, drink a cup of wine, say hello, drink a cup of wine, whatever they can. If not, at least let them drink all the cups